Hey everybody, how's it going? Haussmann here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at the costume evolution of Angel from the X-Men. Not really an evolution, I guess. We're just going to look at a whole bunch of costumes. And am I going to put them in a tier list? I don't know. If I do, it'll be edited in after. I'll give them a rating from S, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Anyway, we've got a few costumes here to look through. I'm going to give you a bit of a history with them when I can. Anyway, let's jump right into it. Uncanny X-Men, issue number 1, 1963. Stan Lee, Jack Kirby. I'm not going to credit the writers on these. It's just the artist. You got the original costume. It's the X-Men training outfit, the blue and the yellow, right? Everybody had it. Iceman. Well, Iceman didn't. Why did I lead off with that one? Beast, Cyclops, they all had the same costume. It's iconic, but like, I don't like it. It's plain. It's also Jack Kirby and the way he, like, Jack Kirby's an amazing artist. I will not deny that. Everything like seemed a little baggy and bulky, and I kind of liked it later when we saw it and it was like a skin-tight spandex thing, because this is more like a burlap sack suit. But like, it's iconic, so it's definitely got to go up in the B tier, I think. Yes. I'm gonna put that one as B. A couple of years later, I believe it was X-Men number 29. Werner Roth was doing the art that time, and then he changed it up. Jean Grey changed it, and she made the costumes a little more form-fitting and added a red belt. And honestly, just you don't look back on the red belt era, and then not that there was a red belt era, but that brief period of time there, it's like 10 issues, I think, with just the red belt. It stands out. It seems odd. It seems like a coloring misprint, honestly, but it existed, and I didn't like it. We're gonna call that one C. I guess if the original uniform is B, then that red belt has to be C. And then, Jesus, if we want to get lower than C, I hate this next costume. In X-Men number 39, Werner Roth again doing the art, the X-Men were given their graduation costumes, as it were. Xavier told them they're no longer students in training. They now have graduated to the X-Men officially, and they each got these costumes. Some of them were great. Angel's is just the worst. It is, like, he's got blue boots, red pants, yellow shirt, and then this blue head sock and these red spandex. It's atrocious. It is hideous. But then right after that, like, it's an F. It's a failure of a costume. In X-Men 55, we got a flashback to what Angel was doing before the X-Men. Again, Werner Roth, and this was the Avenging Angel. Angel, if you don't know, went by the Avenging Angel and did a little bit of crime fighting on his own before joining the X-Men. He had a gas gun, he flew around the city, had the halo on his chest, which would become a mainstay. The yellow trunks are a little not doing it for me, but the red and black and the gun, it's such an iconic look, and I really wish there were more stories set in that time. Like, I want to see this costume in a more modern art style. But yeah, this, honestly, the Avenging Angel, S tier. S tier all the way. I will fight you. I don't have to. I'm not going to fight anybody. But I will argue. I will debate that I like it. I like it. And that's me. I mean, this next costume is just one of the iconic Angel looks. It came in X-Men number 62 by Neil Adams, and it's like November 1969. Like, this is so much earlier than I ever think this costume would have appeared. Like, I think this costume of late 70s, kind of, even though late 70s is something else entirely, but it was actually given to him by Magneto. It was a mysterious benefactor. It turned out to be Magneto, and Magneto was leeching some of his energy off of it. But eventually he was like, no, hey, and he discovered that, and he got rid of that stuff, but kept the costume. But again, like, the halo on the chest, the head sock still, which is apparently to conceal his identity, but whatever. Yeah, just the blue. There would be red variants of this. Obviously, we're going to talk about it in a bit, but like the blue, like, this is just so iconic. Is it S? Is it A? Is it S? Is it A? Is it S? Is it A? That's why I don't do these tier list things ever. That's S. No, that's A. That's an A tier. That's just an A. It's an A plus tier costume. Oh, so good. I think it's great. Then I was, speaking of the 70s, speaking of the 70s, we had the Champions costume. Warren Worthington's folks had both passed away, so he was like, well, I don't need to conceal my identity anymore, and he went for this look. I feel like it's very Greek pantheon. I don't know why I feel that. Maybe it's because he was on the team with Hercules, but it's the headband and the short hair, and then just this yellow and red scheme. Like, I made a custom figure of this years ago. It didn't work out well. His legs fell off, which I don't know why, because it was a straight repaint. But I love this costume, but also I don't I don't like it at all. Like, it's bad. It's arguably bad, but I'm gonna put it in B tier just because I love the idea of the Champions. I like this costume for whatever reason. It's B tier simply because I think it's great, but I hate it. But it's not iconic, it's just bad. And then later in the Champions, in issue number 8, he was getting a new costume because he's like, well, this costume blows. He knew. And then the costume, he was getting his old costume remade with the blue and the white, but it came back in red, which was a mistake. And he's like, well, I have no time. He had to wear it anyway. And he went on to wear that for quite a bit, and with the Defenders as well. Now, that one I'm going to put at S tier. I put the blue one at A tier, I believe. The red one has to go to S tier. I like the red just a little bit more. The blue fits his character so much more. I think the red in this version of the costume just pops, and I love it. Ow. Punched my computer. I love it, so I'm going S. Did I call that S? Yes, S. It's only going to be 2 S tiers, so spoiler alert. Unless I see something else I really like. Ooh, maybe Archangel. Ooh. And then at one point he got yellow boots and stuff with this, which brings it down. Now, eventually, the original X-Men all teamed back together and became X-Factor. In X-Factor #1, they were these government operatives that pretended to hunt mutants, and then they were the exterminators. Can't remember, I have to reread it. But then, so they had the superhero costumes and they had their government identity costumes. The government identity costumes were just these blue jumpsuits, but Angel had this big giant backpack to hide his wings, which is weird because like usually he has his wings just tied down with straps and belts, but this time he gets a big backpack to conceal him, and I guess that's more comfortable. But his X-Factor costume is, they all had a big X. He's got a big just red costume with a white X. I actually quite like that costume as well. Gonna give it an oh. See, like Cyclops' X-Factor costume, that'd be an A tier. Ooh, Angel A. S. There's A stuff coming up. I can't, not S, sorry, B. But of course, as we all know, he didn't last very long before harpooned to the wall by his wings, and he had to have his wings amputated, and he seemingly died, but was got by Apocalypse, and that's where we first got to see Archangel in, was it X-Factor number 23. Now this is what changed the character of Angel, made him actually interesting for the first time in probably forever. He got the metal wings, he got the blue skin, and he got like enhanced strength and a bunch of other things with it. But this is an iconic look, which I'm putting an A. I'm not going to go S because I don't like the purple and blue of it. Although, like, translates so well to action figures and stuff. It's such a good look. But honestly, just gonna go A tier for me. And that was his look. He had a skull mask, but that was only pretty much while he was the Horseman of Apocalypse. Eventually, he lost that. And he kept that look for quite some time. And I want to say it's actually not on my list here, so I apologize. I'll see if I can find more information on that and post a picture here. I believe he wore it back to his blue and white color scheme with the metal wings for quite some time. In fact, I know he did. So, ooh. The blue and the white with the metal wings, I'm also going to call A. These aren't official, so don't take it with too much salt. No, take it with some salt. Anyway, eventually he found that his feathered wings were like regrowing under the metal wings, and he molted the metal wings and had feather wings again. And it was like, oh, that's so cool. Feather wings, right on. Oh, I guess I'll touch on the Age of Apocalypse. Well, look at his Age of Apocalypse costume. It's just not so much a costume. I guess it was just the clothes, because he was running a bar, I believe, called Heaven. And the whole thing was, holy crap, it's a different universe. He's got real wings again. Which, like, realistically, looking back, he's had real wings the majority of his publication time. But at that point in time, he had the metal wings. So it's like, here's the metal wings. Not the metal wings. Here's the feather wings. I like that look. B. B for the Age of Apocalypse. In 1999's Mutant X, the Archangel showed up in there as the Fallen, and I think he was still abducted by Apocalypse, but he got like these leather demony wings. It's a really cool look. C overall. It's not iconic. There was an action figure made of it. So yeah, I believe it was around 319. Well, I don't believe I'm looking right at it. It was Uncanny X-Men 319. His feather wings had come back, and he had the feather wings with the blue costume, with the halo, with the blue skin, and that was like another iconic. Yeah, no, I can't go S tier on that. It's just a slight variation. The blue skin became iconic, so that's A tier. His other blue costume from above is now B tier. Take that, blue costume. This is arbitrary. And then he left the X-Men for a while, I guess. He's running Worthington Enterprises, things like that. He came back, and it was kind of just a new era for the X-Men. This was in X-Men 101. Chris Claremont was actually back on the books, I believe, and it was like the whole X-Men Revolution, just a thing that didn't actually end up going anywhere. We're going to talk about it eventually in my 1999 in comics when we get to 2000 and stuff. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's a cool looking costume. He's in blue. He's got the blue skin. He's got the big X across. One of those issues where he's wearing that was like when he got the great line, like, oh, a goose's wing can break a man's arm. Imagine what mine can do. Costume overall, he's got gauntlets. Oh, C, because it's lost to the annals of time. Yeah. Uncanny X-Men 394. I want to say this was Ian Churchill doing the art. This was during the new X-Men era, so when like they switched from costumes to leather, and like Wolverine was like, I'm not wearing a shirt under mine, and Beast was a cat, and Emma Frost was scantily clad. So during that era, Uncanny X-Men was doing its own thing, and everybody was kind of not quite following that same color scheme, but then Angel had this leather costume with like, I believe there were little pipes around it, and he had a little blonde soul patch. I do remember that. Ooh, it was a cool look. I remember there's a shot, I'll see if I can find it, like he had a rocket launcher. I just remember that. That stands out and lives rent-free in my head. Angel in this costume with the little tubes and the soul patch and the rocket launcher. But C tier. Gotta drop that. And then down the road, Angel had an encounter with Black Tom Cassidy, who sucked some life out of him and ended up making his skin go pale again instead of blue. I believe that's when he got a secondary mutation where he could cut himself and bleed on people to heal them. Jesus, comic books. Uncanny X-Men 412. I think I don't know if Chuck Austin was doing the art, but Chuck Austin was writing around that time, because this is the costume Angel was wearing when he had sex with Husk in the sky above her parents. Chuck Austin. He had a sword? He confiscated a sword from somebody? Chuck Austin was not doing the art. It's very anime inspired, and like, it's red. He's got the loincloth hanging down. It's actually a good look. It doesn't scream X-Men though. He's got the X-Men belt buckle. Am I going A on this one? Yeah, I'm gonna go A. Why not? This is arbitrary, as I keep saying. He showed up in Excalibur number 11. I actually remember really liking this costume. It's just a variant on the blue costume, but he's got wings in the center instead of the halo. But like, something about it, it's so sleek and smooth and not broken up. I apologize if I'm not looking at the camera enough. I don't know what it is, because it's the exact same as the blue costume. It just feels less broken up. And I remember thinking it was cool at the time, and I just don't like it now, so D. That's a D. Uncanny X-Men 500, he got another costume. This is when they were over in San Francisco. It's pretty much the same as the blue costume again, but it's got a straight line down the middle. He's got the X over to the side. Reminds me actually a lot of Iceman's depowered costumes you'd see in the 80s. I don't know, B. And then, of course, during this time was when he discovered he could transform back into the Archangel. He can go back and forth from Angel to Archangel, so we had the metal wings again, and this time we went with black because he was on X-Force. The black and silver. B tier. B tier. And of course, as that went, he kind of, I think I didn't read all this, I don't remember. It was X-Force 13, X-Force 5 was the last one. X-Force 13, he kind of became Apocalypse or something, didn't he? There was like the Apocalypse twins. I don't remember. I read it actually a long time ago. I remember. But he was like just bulkier, and he had these thicker stuff, and he got like some tubes like Apocalypse, and he had a big A on his belt for Archangel, or Angel, not for Apocalypse. Maybe it was for Apocalypse. D. I don't like it. Didn't last long anyway. And then in Avengers vs. X-Men 4, not the original Avengers vs. X-Men, but AVX, he showed off in this new costume. It was a lot. Again, it was just his blue costume, but this time he had his loincloth hanging down, but he kind of, I think he had the metal wings. He can go back and forth. What's with the dangly cloth? What is with the loincloth waist? We don't need that, so C. C. And then this one I've never actually seen in action in the comics, because I haven't actually read some of the newer stuff, which I need to. It was Uncanny X-Men Series 5, issue number 3. He became a Horseman of Salvation, which I hadn't heard of, and he got reprogrammed by the Life Seed, and I don't honestly know what any of that means, but he got this look, and it's like, what? He's just wearing a shoulder pad and his shirt's off, and again, that looks like a knockoff character of some medieval angel. No, don't like it. That's an F. That's an F. It's a great look, but it's not Archangel. So yeah, this video actually came from the House of Ideas, which is what I call my comment section. I couldn't find the comment, so I do apologize. It was someone said, hey, you should take a look at the different costumes of different characters throughout the years, and I thought, hey, you know what? That's a decent idea for a little video I can throw together. So I'm sure I missed a few Angel costumes too. Let me know in the comments below which one is your favorite. Let me know which ones I've missed, and be sure to like and comment down below and subscribe, and come back next week with another video. And stay Haussy, folks. I appreciate every single one of you taking the time out of your day to watch and talk about comic books. So, okay, bye. You're no longer students. Came in X-Men, the big, red.